Hi, it's Nell with the blog Joyous Garden, and yes, I am going to be repotting a ficus today, and this is a ficus maclame. I'm not 100% sure of the pronunciation. I've heard it maclame. Anyway, this is the plant of which I speak right here that I am going to not only repot, but I'm going to divide it and repot it. So this ficus has been growing pretty fast for me. I've only had it a month and a half. It was about here, and now it's put out a lot of growth. And the reason why I want to divide it is, see, it's very, very pot bound, but I also want to try braiding it. I've never braided a ficus before. I'm not going to do it in this, video, but I am going to attempt to braid this. But don't worry, we will film that for you. I just want to divide it and repot it in this video now. Now, this plant has a big enough root system, and it's a plant that doesn't mind going in a bigger pot. I could put it into a 10-inch pot and it would be fine. There's many plants that I say, oh, go from a 6-inch to an 8-inch, only go one pot size, but this you could jump up a couple. But I'm just gonna do it in an 8-inch for now, and then I'm gonna put the other half. I don't know if it's gonna divide equally or how I'm actually gonna divide it. I think I'm gonna divide it right here. So one part will go into the 6-inch pot and the other part will go into the 8-inch pot. And in terms of timing, it is June 23rd. Great time to repot. The summer, spring and summer are the optimum times into early fall. As I always say, if you have to do it in the winter, if something happens to your plant, it's okay. It's just not the best time. So this is a really great time to do it, and I'm going to use a nice rich chunky mix that drains well. It's the same mix that I use for all ficus I repot. I have done videos on repotting a Ficus elastica. I think that's the only one. I've also I have repotted a Ficus benjamina, and I have repotted a fiddle leaf fig, a Ficus lyrata. I just haven't done videos about them, but I thought it would be fun to show you this. And these drain pots have all these, these pots have all these drain holes in them. Excuse me, it's like 100 degrees, so I might be mincing a few words. Have all these drain holes, so I put some newspaper on the bottom every time I do, and then I'll just make a little hole in it so the water can flow and the water can flow out, but that loose soil mix does not all come out in the first few waterings. And don't worry, the paper will break down over time. And just to show you, this is how I'm going to divide it. I imagine this I think is a little bigger, so it'll go in the 8-inch pot. So I'm just going to take a knife and just slice it down. And then I'm going to pull it apart. Boy, ficuses grow to be really big. My neighbors in Santa Barbara had one in front of their house. They had a Ficus benjamina. It was about 45 feet tall. It had torn up the sidewalk, and that thing dropped leaves like crazy. But well, let's see. I need to do a few more cuts in the middle because it's kind of intertwined. Okay, gonna pull it apart now. Just had to score it a bit, and here they are. Yeah, this one's a little bit bigger here. So my goal is I am going to braid this, but I have to start it soon before it gets too big. So I'm gonna let it settle in for a couple weeks into the repotting, and then I will actually do the braiding of it. Okay. So in here I have a mixture of potting soil. I use Fox Farm products, and today I'm using Happy Farm. I alternate between Ocean Forest and Happy Frog. Those are my two faves, and sometimes I mix them together. And then I'm adding in some of these nice cocoa chips because the ficus love those, and they're also going to add into the drainage too, and some pumice to also amend in the drainage, because we want to drain and be aerated so those roots can get the oxygen they need. And now a sprinkling of worm compost and compost. It's a local blend I buy at the farmer's market here in Tucson. It's a nice natural way to feed your plants. It breaks down slowly. So that looks about right. I'm going to take off a little bit of these on the top that are just, you know, loose. I'm not going to pull anything off. Those were loose. And then I'm just going to try and break this apart a little bit. And maybe see if I can get them. Well, I think they're about as close as they can go. So I'm going to start actually by tying it together here when I braid it. So that'll be an adventure, you know, something I haven't done before. But isn't that what gardening's all about? It's about learning and doing new things. Anyway, I'm just topping off and filling in around here with that mixture, some nice soil. Gonna grab a little bit of the cocoa chips too that they love so much. Now I have a lot of plants. I have the third bay in my garage is dedicated potting area. I have a lot of potting materials. I have a big garden outside. I have a lot of plants inside. But if you if you're in a small space, then just potting soil. If you get a really good and well aerated potting soil, that'll be okay. If not, you can, or if you have a little bit more room, you can get a small bag of perlite or pumice to add into that. It just loosens up the soil and it aids in the drainage and also helps to prevent the soil from staying too wet, because many plants die from being kept too wet. So I'm just putting on some of that wonderful compost on the top. Oh boy, this looks better. And I'm going to thoroughly water it after this, you know, video is over. I'm going to make sure the soil is nice and wet. I've been having to water this plant every day. It's been living in the back corner of my covered patio here, and I've had to water it every day because it's so hot. So into this new soil mixture, into a bigger pot, I'm not going to have to water it every day. Yay. And now it's really going to take off and grow. So this one is all done and all topped off. I really like the foliage on these plants, and it's nowhere near as delicate as the Ficus benjamina is. It's easier to, I find it easier to maintain, much easier to maintain than the lorata. So it's a good one to add to your collection if you can find it. Now, on to the other plant. So I'm going to plant this exactly the same way. I'm just taking a little bit of the soil off of the bottom here so that it has a little bit more room to go back in this same pot. I would have put it in another 8-inch pot, an 8-inch pot also, but I'm all out of them. I have to get some more when I go to EcoGrow. All right. I'm just going to fill in, and I'll catch you later. And here they are. Not only did I repot it, but I divided it. So they turned out really beautiful. Love these plants. So I just hope you found this to be helpful about repotting a ficus. As I said, this is a soil mixture and the procedure you use for other ficus also. So be sure to come back, because I have a lot more videos coming your way about gardening both indoors and outdoors. I'm trying to upload 3 or 4 longer videos every month. As you know, we do a short every week, so be sure and check those out. So I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get out into the gardens and make our worlds, or get into our indoor gardens or outdoor gardens if you're growing this outside, and make our worlds a more beautiful place. I thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.